what Kanye did, and he just kept poking the bear at that. I really don't. Honestly, I don't even listen to his music no more. I don't. I don't listen. I deleted all his songs and.
All right, man. Well, you recently went at Ray Daniels because he said you cannot kill greatness when speaking about Kanye. You commented, that man disrespected our whole ancestral line of the 19th century, and people on here praising him for his catalog of songs. We are definitely in a new era of music executives. This is a sick analysis. We can do better.
Yeah,
And then
I
like
will
some people
say.
started coming at you and stuff like
Oh
that.
man, hey, motherfuckers was so crazy because on my Instagram page, I have some of your clips. It was motherfuckers on there that literally they went on my Instagram page because I just made a comment on Ray Daniels' page. They went on my Instagram page. They started talking about our conversations. Maybe they even went. Maybe these losers went on YouTube and it was like, oh, you just be sucking dick and telling stories about D12 and Eminem all day. I mean, they were coming. They really were coming, and they was doing their research, and they were on my Instagram page making jokes and about just me. And yeah, it got brutal on there. And I just think it's it's like, man, you gotta have a cookie. You gotta start like having a what they call it, a not a cookie trail, but what they call it when you put out.
Breadcrumb.
Yeah, you gotta start having breadcrumbs. I like the term cookie though, cookie crumbs. You gotta start having breadcrumbs. And yeah, I'm not as popular as Ray Daniels. Ray Daniels, he a music industry executive. But I've held my share of own, and I've been in the game, and I'm a OG in the music industry. I've had my moments. And so when a person of his stature makes a comment, a person in that game has to make a comment too. Like when somebody dies, like when a popular person or industry person dies in my area, in like my region, I won't say rest in peace such and such, because you have to do a comment. You have to. I'm old school and I'm a traditionalist, and you have to comment on stuff like that. So if somebody in the industry makes that kind of comment, that's why the Lord on the 10th day created Instagram comments and YouTube comments. So I'm going to give another perspective of it, because
Wait.
Ray
Let me
has
let me
a.
let me ask you though, right? You respect what he's done in this game though, right?
Oh, no doubt. Yeah.
Okay, so it's definitely not hating or anything. But there was a guy that wrote in the comments, but it was they could choose to endure or choose not to and either fight back, with the ending result most likely being a loss of life. Just because you think it would make sense to roll over doesn't mean you don't have to choose to stand your ground. I feel everyone who took offense to his statement got in their feelings over what he said and threw logic out the window, as logic is usually the polar opposite of emotion. And you said, well, I guess Kanye is pimping White Lives Matter brand was thumbs up for you too. If you dare to speak of logic, you and your best friend Kanye should be thankful our ancestors endured slavery and not go to Liberia, which was callously offered by America, or be killed in the fields. I just don't get you folks' emotional toddler thought process. Our ancestors had to suffer for us, as you and I have IG fingers. You don't piss on their logic. Be appreciative to honor their struggle.
Now, let's since you opening up the can of worms, let's open up the can of worms. That person was 88 Keys. I don't know if you said that or not. That was
Right.
88 Keys. Now, with that right, that man, glad you brought that up, because it was some guys, and I don't know their names. It's a group of young African American guys, and they have a podcast, and they're four dudes, and when you look at them, you think in the podcast, it just came across my algorithm, right? And these four young dudes with dreads, they may be from Chicago, and I hope if they see this, because I'm gonna at them with this, with this clip. They were talking about Kanye. They was like, what the fuck is Kanye? Why are we capping for Kanye? They were speaking on the perspective of, as black people, yeah, he made those horrible things. He made those horrible statements about the Jewish community in Israel. But these four brothers were saying, man, how are you guys? How is us as a black culture? Because they wasn't really speaking of hip hop. And after we do this, I'll send you the link because this plays an important role of what we're talking about. So, man, all the guys of my age, I'm talking about Don Lemon, some of even guys from my city, we were all commending these young guys. These young guys were like 25 years old and they got a podcast, and we were like, congratulations. Now, you know what? 88 Keys got under there and commented. Cause like I'm talking about Don Lemon, I think Don Shadell, like black men of my age range. We were commenting like, brothers, you get it. And that's why, as our age range, we were standing up against Kanye and those comments he were making. Now, bring it back to the comment. 88 Keys got out of there and started disrespecting them. Oh, you don't get it. You guys, because they do use the N-word on their show. Then he started going off on them. He started dissing their platform. And I went right under there and I said, 88 Keys, we meet again. I'm like, because trust me, that was on Ray Daniels' page that you're talking about. That's where this spawned off of. And I don't know, maybe me and 88 Keys got the same algorithm, but he started, like, he was the anti. When we were commending them, because they was totally not fucking with Kanye. And they didn't get into the Jewish slant of what Kanye. They were just speaking for, yo, man, as black people, Kanye had this White Lives Matter, and he had some other stuff that, just some really demonstrable stuff talking of just singularly, he was calling out black people and primarily black men. He made a lot of comments like, Van Lathan from TMZ, when he was combating.
Right.
Yeah, so when I was saying that, I was speaking on the term of how Kanye disrespected and shitting on them. And hey man, those four brothers, and I wish I knew their names, they were very commendable. And I know, I started researching them more, and they use the N-word, but I use the N-word. In this interview, this session, I'm gonna probably use the N-word. It's probably gonna slip out. So I'm just saying, I get people get it. And when I came out, I hope maybe one of those young brothers seen, or maybe they like maybe they follow Ray Daniels, but it's comfortable saying that I had disagreed with Kanye. And as with Ray Daniels, and I like Ray Daniels, I follow him. Man, he has some very inspirational stuff, because even sometimes on my Instagram stories, I share some of the stuff he puts up. But just me and him we just disagreed on that. Like on that portion of what he was what he posted.
Right. And hasn't 88 Keys worked with Kanye? So that's probably why he's defending
Yeah,
him.
88 Keys. Yeah, 88 Keys work with Kanye. I mean 88 Keys. All during that what's the dude? Help me out here. What's the dude? And now him and Kanye fell out. The guy who Fluffy blew up his car.
Oh, Kid Cudi.
Yeah, back in that whole era, with Kid Cudi and Kanye and all that, the night and day and all of that. Yeah, 88 Keys was very um around Kanye. Yes.
So then also you wrote being a sponsor is a choice, and you put up the black fist and laughing emojis.
Oh, now Now
No, wait,
that
but wait. That's when somebody said Dick riding Eminem D12 stories from 20 years ago is a
oh
choice too.
yeah,
Y'all
that's yeah, yeah.
Wakanda dudes losing me. The only people y'all give a hard time to is the black man. That's what he said.
Yeah, that's what's crazy. Yeah. But no, with that being said, I put that and that went I don't want to say viral because I don't really look for viral, but when Shade Room put up a post about Kanye, I just put being a sponsor is a choice. Well, yeah, when he got kicked out of the when Coca-Cola and Pepsi or whichever, I like that. I like that because you know what? I'm thinking granular. I'm thinking it's probably some black exec around my age or younger, and they see like Kanye, and they sitting there like, oh hell no. Cause it was what Kanye said was very offensive. It goes back to like I just shared with your viewers. My dad was in World War II, but you know, my grandfather, Columbus Hicks, he was dancing around that time in slavery. He was right at the end of that. And my great grandfather was a slave, you know, because they come from Alabama. And I remember my grandfather was one of the first black businessmen in Birmingham, Alabama, and all the stories that he had to endure. I think he maybe had a share. I can't I can't. Maybe it was sharecrop. It was something to do with farming. And I remember the stories that's engulfed in my family's history about that. So when Kanye is saying that, I remember, you know, being a 5-year-old kid and having my having my stories, I mean my family stories told as part of my our you know my on my Hicks family history side of things. So yeah, I took that shit personal because I knew that it was an enduring part that my family, my grandfather had to personally go through.
Yeah, I mean, like, again, to go back to the whole like separating the art from the artist or the person or whatever, right? Like Kanye has done amazing music. I think most people would agree, but it doesn't like make it exempt that he can't be held accountable for the stuff that he says or how damaging it can be to the community. You know what I'm saying? Like that it's I don't know, like it's crazy how people are able to overlook those things because they're a fan of somebody's work.
Yeah, and it's almost like that Meatloaf sitting here like us talking about this. It's like that Meatloaf song. I could do everything for you, but I won't, but I can't do that. I will do everything. That's the way the song went, but that's one of my Meatloaf favorite songs. I should know the way the chorus goes. But when you bring up, yeah, I do listen to Elvis Presley. I do listen to the Rolling Stones. I listen to R. Kelly, and I was a big Kanye fan. But it's something about how he it's I could and like I say, do I agree with young girls and all that? No, I don't. But I know that they come from a lineage of where it was probably cool and they didn't make the transition. I don't know. I don't know. I'm not in their head, but what Kanye did, and he just kept poking the bear of that. I really don't. Honestly, I don't even listen to his music no more. I don't. I don't listen. I deleted all his songs, and I don't. I don't. Shit, I don't listen to him no more.
Mm.
So it is a line. Maybe it's a mental ceiling I have to get over, but it's something about Kanye I just don't like. And it's some other things that I don't personally agree with his techniques and different things, but I don't know, man.
Mark, now they gonna be in the comments real brutal. They're gonna be like, "Oh, so you willing to listen to a PDF, but you not willing to listen to this guy that made remarks against the black community and yada yada and stuff like that." So
I don't know, man. I think you know what? I feel a connection with Kanye. I do. I feel we are now. This is like this interview that turned into a psychology class, but I feel like Kanye. I'm not that far removed from him because he's from Chicago. I'm from Detroit. We kind of had we're in the same age range. Well, true enough to say, R. Kelly is in the same age range, but it comes to a point where I feel very disappointed in Kanye. He I feel disappointed. So I kind of it's kind of like I have a different perspective of him because R. Kelly was a little bit older than me, not far, but Kanye grew up in the whole hip hop culture. R. Kelly was in the hip hop culture, but Kanye was more in the hip hop culture, far removed. I actually done some business with him because he when right when I was right when me and D12 was, parting ways. I got fired. My company got fired from managing him. We negotiated the D12 World deal. I mean, he produced the title track for D12 World. I remember he was getting a haircut and we was in the studio and we were kicking it. And honestly, when I met Kanye, we had the same beliefs. We really kicked it because, me and Kanye is in the same age range, to be honest. We we like a couple of years. I think I'm a couple of years older than him, 3 or 4 years older than him. So yeah, and we shared the same thing. I never had that quality of Kanye. That's like if you we talked and I've gotten to know you, and if I changed like if I did a 180-degree turn and change, you'll be like, damn, I thought I knew Mark. Man, what the fuck is he? What the fuck kind of time he on? And so the brief time I was negotiating with Kanye, I mean his people, and he was working with he was working with me when I was managing D12. That's the part I'm like, oh, really?
You know what it is? What it is that his early work with the soul samples and like the conscious messages and stuff like that, like the stuff that he was saying, is set an unprecedented expectation of who you thought this guy was, right? With like the messages that he said on All Falls Down, all these different things. And then all of a sudden he transformed to this other person and you was like, who is this motherfucker? Like, I don't even know who he is. Like, is this the same guy? I think that you got let down, really. Like you were very disappointed. Like R. Kelly, yeah, he made good music, like for like fucking and shit like that, but you didn't have like this expectation, like, oh, this guy is like actually elevating our people or like spreading like uplifting like our people from a good message or something like that, right? Like you looked at Kanye in a different light. So then when that happened, when he made those comments that were not just disappointing but was damaging towards the black community, I feel like, right? You were like, damn, like how could you do that?
And let's not forget, I brought this up just a few minutes ago. Kanye was poking the bear because I know as adults, in this society, we have like short-term memory. But if you remember when Kanye said the slavery is a choice, he was active on Twitter and he would be saying some very fiery shit. He would be definitely putting gasoline on the fire. And people forget that. Sometimes he would say some crazy asinine shit and he would delete it. So when people was was I mean, not people, but when Kanye was, he kept like poking the bear and poking it, and he would make comments. Now with R. Kelly was like, I don't know,
So
man.
we not condoning anything that R. Kelly
Yeah,
did. We're
I'm
not
not
saying that.
condoning. I'm
Yeah,
anti it because I'm
right.
like McDonald's might want to sponsor something I'm a part of, and I'm sitting up here defending R. Kelly. Thanks, Panda. But yeah, I don't really know. I think that's a bad, you know, he's he's bad. That was a bad time in his life, and hey, he's serving time for it. He's a man that's in jail, and he's serving his penance.
Right.